Welcome back. This is a video about solving simultaneous equations using elimination method. The steps involved in this method are: the first one is you have to choose the right variable to eliminate. For that, you can either choose x or y. You have to look into the coefficients of both x and y in both the equations given, and you will have more details in a little bit while. Now, once you have chosen the particular variable to eliminate it accordingly. Find the value of the remaining variable. The variable that you have eliminated would have gone off the equations. Now you will be left over with the remaining variable, and you are supposed to find the value of this remaining variable. And once you have found this value, choose one of the given equations, go back to the given equations, choose any one of them, substitute this value that you have just found into this remaining variable, and then find the value of the original eliminated variable. Once you have done with finding both the values of x and y, go back to the given equation, substitute them, and verify whether your answers are right or wrong. How do we choose the correct variable, x or y? For choosing the correct variable, you should look into the coefficients of either x or y. So coefficients means the numbers that are attached to the terms x or y. So there are four types of equations that you will be having under this category, and in that you have three main categories. The first category is that both the numbers, that is both the coefficients of either x or y, they are the same numbers with same sign. In this case, if you can see, the y term has the same coefficient, +2 +2, same number, same sign. Whereas if you go to the next category, both are same numbers, but they are of opposite signs, which means if you check the y term here, you have the numbers are the same, the coefficients numbers are the same, 2 and 2, but the signs are different, plus and minus. So this is the second category of simultaneous equations you will have under elimination method. The third category is both of them are different numbers, that is both, if you are choosing one of the variables x or y, you will have the coefficients of x are different and coefficient of y is also different. So in this case there are two more categories. The first one is a multiple of the other, which means if you can see here 2x and 6x. 6 is a multiple of 2. So if whereas in y it is not so. In this case x will be the term that I will be eliminating. That will be the variable that I will choose to eliminate, because it comes under this category. One of the variables, one of the coefficients of one of the variables is a multiple of the other, which is if I'm choosing x, the coefficient of x here is 6 and x here is 2. 6 is a multiple of 2. So this comes under this category. I will choose to eliminate x in this particular example. The next category is there is no relation with any of the terms or any of the coefficients. So if you check x terms 2, 1, 3, there is no relation. If you check the y term 3 and 4, there is no relation. In this case, either one of them had some relation or the other, whereas in this case there is no such relation at all. So we will be solving all these four types of equations in the next few minutes. Let's consider the first case. Plus 2y equal to 5 and 3x plus 2y equal to 7. We don't at the moment concentrate on this part of the equation, but we will see only this part of the equation. And we can see that x and x, there is no much relationship. But if you move on to the y term, we have plus 2, which comes under the first category that we saw. So they are of same numbers and same sign. So if I have plus 2 and plus 2, and if I want to get rid of this plus 2, that is if I want to get a 0 out of this, what would I do? I would actually subtract them. So plus 2 minus plus 2 would give me 0. So when they are of same sign, subtraction would be the best option to get 0 out of them. So I will subtract these two equations. First equation, I will call this as equation 1 and I will call this as equation 2. So I am going to subtract equation 1 minus equation 2, which means term by term I should subtract. So x minus 3x. So I'll subtract minus 3x, which will give me minus 2x, and 2y minus plus 2y, which will give me, cancellation of these two will give me 0 here. And then 5, I should be very careful that when I'm subtracting, I should subtract both the sides of the equation. So I should subtract x to x, y to y, and constant to constant. So 5 minus 7 would give me minus 2. So the new equation I've got is minus 2x plus 0 equal to minus 2. So I don't need to write this 0. So minus 2x is equal to minus 2. Therefore x is equal to 1. So when you go back to the steps involved, once you found the value of the remaining variable, which is in this case we have eliminated y. X is the remaining variable. Therefore we found the value of the remaining variable, which is x, which is equal to 1. Now you go back to the given equations, choose one of them. Probably I will choose this equation because it doesn't have any coefficient with x, so it's simple for me to substitute. So I will choose the first equation, and then I will substitute x is equal to 1 in this equation, which becomes 1 plus 2y equal to 5. Now I can find the value of y very easily, equal to 4, y is equal to 2. So y equal to 2 is the value for y now. X is equal to 1 is the x value. Now we have x is equal to 1 and y equal to 2. Go back to the equations to verify. The first equation will be 1 plus 2 times 2, which is 5, and this is correct. Second equation is 3 times 1 plus 2 times 2, which is equal to 7, and which is given on the right hand side of this equation, which is also correct. So verification is also done. In this case, when the coefficients of one of the variables are same with same sign, you need to subtract the two equations. That's the catch of this particular example. Now going to the second example, where you have the coefficient of y as the same number, but their signs are different. So if I have plus 2 and minus 2, and if I want to get 0 out of them, I just need to add those two. So plus 2 added to minus 2 will give me 0. So since the signs are different, I will just add these two equations. So 3x plus x is 4x. Plus 2y plus minus 2y cancels. Therefore there is no y here. And then I'm adding 4 plus 3, which is 7. Be careful when there are negative signs here. You are adding. If it had negative sign, you have to subtract them. So whatever sign here, you are just adding them. 4x is equal to 7 is what you are getting now. Therefore x is equal to 7 over 4 is the value of the remaining variable. Now go back to one of these equations and substitute. Which one would you consider? Considering you are going to substitute for x. So 3x is a more complicated job than for substituting in x, right? Therefore, I will take the second equation to substitute. X minus 2y equal to 3 is the equation that I will substitute. In this case, 7 over 4 minus 2y equal to 3. So minus 2y equal to 3 minus 7 over 4, which is 5 over 4. Therefore, minus 2y. Therefore, y equal to minus 5 over 8. Now you got these two values. You can just substitute in each of them and verify for the last step. So when you have opposite signs, the second category, the same number but opposite signs with any x or y, now you have to add the two equations. So the equations are going to be added in the second category when the coefficients of the variable are same numbers but opposite signs. Going to the next option, we have they are all different numbers, but the condition here is if you look into the x variable, the second equation has a coefficient which is the multiple of the coefficient of the first equation. So 2 and 6. Now all that you have to do is make them one of the first two conditions, that is same variable condition, either it is same sign or opposite sign condition. So it will go back to these two categories. How can I make them into the same number? So I can change this 2 to 6 by multiplying by 3. So 2 becomes 6 if I multiply by 3. And if I multiply 2 by 3, I should multiply everything by 3. That's all I will do now. So equation 1 is going to be 3 times equation 1. I'm going to multiply equation 1 by 3 so that I'll get the same value for x coefficient with the second equation. So I'll get 6x plus 9y. Be careful to multiply the whole equation by 3. Each and every term in the equation 1 should be multiplied by the number that you are supposed to be multiplying here. Now rewrite the second equation as it is, because that's what we are aiming for. Now we have come to the first category of the equations where you have same numbers and same sign. So same number, same sign is subtraction. So you need to subtract these two equations. So if you are subtracting, you need to subtract, you need to subtract, you need to subtract term by term. So once you subtract, this goes off. 6x minus 6x, 9 minus 4 is 5y, and 15 minus 7 is 8. Therefore this gives you y equals 8 over 5 as value of y. Now going backwards, you can now substitute this y into the original equations. No need to use this equation anymore because it has more bigger coefficients. So let's go back to the original equation, and you can choose any of the equations. So I'm choosing the first one, and I'm going to substitute 8 over 5 for y in this, and then find x. So I will have x is equal to 1 over 10. So these are the two values for x and y for this particular question. You can again go back and check, verify them into the equation, substitute in the equations and verify them for both the equations. So when they are different numbers but they are multiples of, one is a multiple of the other, then multiply one of the equations to get the second number and match the numbers, match the coefficients and proceed. Even if you had a negative sign here, that's fine. You could have multiplied by 3 and you would have got minus 6x here, which will be same sign opposite, same number opposite sign. Then you would have, instead of subtraction, you would have added the equations. So that's all it is. Just the idea is multiply the number, the smaller number, to get the bigger number and match the second equation either in this form or in this form. Now none of them are related to each other, like there is no relation with x coefficient nor with y coefficient. So how will you do this? So the best method is again same number. You have to bring them to same number, either sign is the same sign or opposite sign. So that's okay. Either way, sign is not a problem because we can go back to the first two categories and then use the same method to find the values of x and y. But the idea is we need the same coefficients first, same numbers for coefficients in the first stage. So I will make this, I can concentrate either on x or y. That's okay. I want to make 2 and 3 to be the same number. So the best option is I'll multiply the 2 by 3 and 3 by 2 if I'm choosing x. If I'm choosing y, I will multiply the 3 by 4 and 4 by 3 so that both of them become 12. So, and then I can start eliminating y. Whichever you want to choose, you can choose in this category, but I'm going to choose x here. So I will multiply this by 3 and this by 2. When I'm multiplying this 2 by 3, that doesn't balance the equation. Therefore, I should multiply the whole equation by 2 and the whole equation, the first equation by 3 and the second equation by 2. So 3 times first equation will give me 6x plus 9y, be careful, equal to 15. Usually people forget to multiply the right hand side, so that it's always better you put the bracket like this. The second one is 2 times the equation 2, which would give me 6x plus 8y equal to 14. Now the new equations are, this is maybe I can call this as 3 and 4. These are the two equations I'm going to solve now. In this comes under this category, same sign, same number category, because 6x and 6x are there. So I need to subtract. So I need to subtract these two equations. So equation 3 minus equation 4. So if I subtract, I will subtract 6x minus 6x, it goes off. 9y minus 8y will be 1y, and then 15 minus 14 will be 1. Therefore y equal to 1 is the answer for y. Again, this next step is go back to the given equation. You don't have to do these two equations because it has bigger coefficients, so it will be much more difficult. Since it is 1, it might be easier, but it's better to go back to the equations which will have a lower coefficients. So let's go back to the original equation, 2x plus 3y equal to 5 and y equal to 1 is what I'm going to substitute, and then I'm going to find the value of x. So in this case, x is equal to 1 as well. So x is equal to 1, y equal to 1 is the answer. If you substitute x equal to 1 here and y equal to 1 here, you know that 2 plus 3 is 5, x equal to 1, y equal to 1, 4 plus 3 is 7, therefore the answers are correct. This is how you will verify the answers, putting them into the original equations. And that's all it is. All that you need to do is get every equation back to the first two types, and then you can solve them either by adding them or subtracting them. I hope you understood and you enjoyed this. Bye bye.